This video covers everything we did in class today on Tuesday, December 7th. Make sure you have ClassKick open so that you can follow along and complete your work. First, you have the do now. You have 6 questions about percent. Pause this video and complete the do now. Yesterday, we learned a strategy for calculating percents. Our strategy is as follows. When you have a whole number, you can multiply the whole number times the percentage over 100 to calculate the part. That means that in a question like question 1, where I know that my whole number is 20 and I know that my percentage is 12, I can simply multiply 20 times 12 divided by 100. And this is the type of question that you could definitely use a calculator for. So you might want to multiply 12 divided by 100 first, or just know that it's 0.12, and then multiply 0.12 times 20. You end up with 2.4. You would follow the exact same strategy for 2. What is 13% of 500? I know that 500 is my whole, and I'm multiplying it times 13 over 100 because I'm looking for 13%. 500 times 0.13 is equal to 65. If you haven't already, pause this video to do question 3 on your own. Questions 4, 5, and 6 are a little bit different because now we have the part and the whole, and we need to calculate the percent. Yesterday, we learned that part over whole times 100 is equal to percent. So in this case, I would simply divide 4 by 10 times 100, which is equal to 40%. You would follow the same procedure for question 5. 12 out of 15, or 12 divided by 15, times 100. 12 divided by 15 is equal to 0.8 times 100, 80%. If you haven't already, please pause this video and complete question 6. This week's foundational learning target is I can calculate the percent, whole, or part when given the other two. This foundational learning target ties directly into our new unit, so it's important that we master it together. If you were absent yesterday and you haven't had a chance to complete the guided notes, please go back and do so as soon as you can. Today, we're going to continue working on Unit 4. Our learning target is I can calculate the total amount after a percent increase or decrease and represent the change with a tape diagram. We're going to work on all 3 activities in Lesson 6, and then we'll take an exit ticket at the end of class. I'm skipping ahead to show you what your first page looks like. It looks like this. This will be slide 4 in ClassKick. So take a second and get yourself to slide 4 in ClassKick. (6.1) Improving their game. Here are the scores from 3 different sports teams from their last 2 games. 1. What do you notice about the team's scores? What do you wonder? 2. Which team improved the most? Explain your reasoning. Please pause this video to answer questions 1 and 2. Okay, so you should have answered questions 1 and 2 on your own, and there are a lot of valid things that you might have written. What we talked about in class was that the baseball team only added 8 points to their total score. The basketball team also only added 8 points, and the football team also only added 8 points. The difference is that for the baseball team, when compared to, say, the basketball team, adding 8 points is a much larger change. If a basketball team scores 8 more points, their score might go from something like 100 to 108. But when the baseball team adds 8 points, their score tripled, and it went from 4 to 12. So one thing that's important to think about is not just how many points did they increase by, but how large is the increase compared to the original amount of points. And that's a topic we're going to discuss in today's lesson. You should have your own answer to questions 1 and 2 before we move on. So if you need to pause the video to answer 1 and 2, please do so now. 6.2, more cereal and a discounted shirt. A cereal box says now it contains 20% more cereal. Originally, it came with 18.5 ounces of cereal. How much cereal does the box come with now? I'm going to underline my key information. 20% more cereal and an original amount of 18.5 ounces of cereal. The question is, how much cereal does the box come with now? I'm going to model question 1. I want you to complete it along with me in Classkick, and then you'll try question 2 on your own. I know that my original cereal box came with 18.5 ounces, and we're going to use a tape diagram to represent that. 18.5 ounces. Now, I know that I'm going to need to work with 20% in this problem. So I'm going to take my whole, which is 18.5 ounces, and I'm going to split it up into 20% boxes. So each of these boxes represents 20%. So in order to figure out how much cereal is 20% of the box, I'm going to use that formula we talked about yesterday. 18.5 times 20 over 100. And so I know that 20% of the box of cereal is 3.7 ounces, which means that each of these 20% boxes represents 3.7 ounces of cereal. So, remember that the question is asking us, what is 20% more of 18.5? So, if I were to draw a second tape diagram where I end up with 20% more, so an extra 20% box, I know that my main box, the part that's the same size as the original, is 18.5 ounces. And I know that that extra 20% that I added on here is equal to 3.7 ounces. And so in total, what I've done is I've added 18.5 ounces plus 3.7 ounces, because remember, this right here is the 20% increase, and 8.5 plus 3.7 gives me a total of 22.2 ounces. And that's how much cereal the new box should have. If you need to pause the video to get any of this down on your own, you're always welcome to do so. Now, 2 is very similar. It says the price of the shirt is $18.50, but you have a coupon that lowers the price by 20%. What is the price of the shirt after using the coupon? I want you to pause this video and try question 2 using whatever strategy you want. So pause the video and try question 2. I know that the entire shirt costs $18.50. And again, I'm going to draw a tape diagram to show the total cost at the beginning. In this problem, just like question 1, I know I'm going to be working with 20%. So I'm just going to go ahead and split up my tape diagram into 5 equal boxes. If I'm splitting up 1850 into 20%, I need to multiply 1850 times 20 over 100. Let me zoom in so we can see clearly. 1850 times 20 over 100, which of course is the same thing as just 18.5 times 0.2, and that is equal to 37, just like up here, right? It's the same exact total. We're starting with the same whole. So I have $3.7 is the same thing as 20%. Each of these boxes represents 20%. And again, the reason why is just because we have 5 of those boxes in total for a whole of 100% or $18.50. So this time what's happening is that the price of the shirt is lowered after using the coupon. So we have one tape diagram to show the initial cost, and then we need another to show after the coupon. And we know that after the coupon, the price is lowered by 20%. So I'm going to have one fewer box. And instead of having 4 groups of 3.7, or rather, instead of having 5 groups of 3.7, I have 4. And so my total cost is going to be $14.80. And that's the cost after the coupon. And again, this time all we did was we took away 20%. We had this 20% decrease right here. We did not have a 20% box. So in order to calculate a percent increase or a percent decrease, we need to be able to calculate percents, like 20% of 1850. So yesterday's practice is going to be really important to our current unit. Okay, I'm going to get you started on 6.3, and you'll work through this exercise on your own. In this situation, it wants you to match each situation to a tape diagram and be prepared to explain your reasoning. A. Compared with last year's strawberry harvest, this year's strawberry harvest is a 25% increase. B. This year's blueberry harvest is 75% of last year's. C. Compared with last year, this year's peach harvest decreased 25%. And D. This year's plum harvest is 125% of last year's plum harvest. So you'll need to figure out which situations belong with diagram A and which belong with diagram B. In question 2, you need to draw a diagram to represent new situations. A. The number of ducks living at the pond increased by 40%, and B. The number of mosquitoes decreased by 80%. Please pause this video and complete 6.3. You should have tried 6.3 on your own. I'm just going to show question 2A. In question 2A, we would have an initial tape diagram that showed the original amount of ducks living at the pond. Then, the number of ducks living at the pond increased by 40%. And so you would want a tape diagram that just shows about 40% more on the new box. We have 100% here, 100% here, and an additional 40%. And that's also how you should draw your diagram in B. You don't even have this page on your ClassKick. I took it out to have you skip it, but you do have the lesson summary. This will be a helpful example for your exit ticket. This situation says, imagine that it takes Andre 3/4 more of the time that it takes Jada to get to school. We know that Andre's time is 1 3/4 times Jada's time, but we can also describe this in terms of percentages. Notice how Andre's time is 75% higher than Jada's, and so his tape diagram has 3 extra boxes, given that each box represents 25%. And this is exactly the type of question that you need to answer on the exit ticket. Here are your steps. Please complete the cool down or the exit ticket on the last slide of ClassKick. It'll be on your final slide. Once you've completed the exit ticket, which again is on the last slide of ClassKick, then you need to log in to Schoology and you need to do tonight's homework, which is posted in the main folder. As always, if you have any questions, please make sure to send me an email.